there, this is Ryan Nickel. This is another day in the life of a bootstrap real estate investor coming at you with episode number, I think 55. So anyway, I've been crying my eyes out all morning. So yesterday I shared with you that there were two people that showed up on the property and they started like going back and forth about like, hey, don't do this, hey, that's my stuff. So later on the afternoon, one of them came back and goes, here's my cashier's check. Here's $10,000 that I want to, put down on this property right now today. The other person's a trust fund person. So, buyer one has cash, $10,000. Buyer two needs to go get approval from their trust fund, and they're going to put down $60,000. Now, I scared the crap out of buyer one because I said, look, you know what? This is a mortgage. They could call it due. All of these things that could happen, and there's traditionally like the mortgage. I don't worry about subject. When I do subject twos, I'm not worried about them being called due. But this particular one has a city improvement loan on it that if the ownership transfers, the city could call the improvement loan due. Anyway, so that's something that is a concern. And so I shared that with buyer number one, thinking like, hey, you know what? This is the deal. Think about it. They could call it due. You're going to have to come up with the rest of the money. It's only a $40,000 loan, blah, blah, blah. And the guy's like, oh, I don't know if I want to do that. So for me, option number two was like, hey, trust fund, man. They're giving $60,000. I can keep $40,000 either in reserve or just pay that city loan off right then and there and, be done with it. So those were the two options that I'm looking at. So today I get a phone call from option number one, and I'm totally expecting her to say, look, you know what? We don't want this house anymore. And, sorry about it. No, instead she goes, I have the full amount. We have a family member. I have the full amount, $150,000. And I'm like, I can't sell you the house today. She's like, what do you mean? I'm like, I don't own it yet. I'm going through probate. So, and I told her everything. Like, I have the right to sublet it out from the owners and stuff like that, from the heirs, but technically it's not in my name until the probate is finished, which I'm paying for, all this stuff. And she's like, okay, that's fine. I'll wait. I want the house, and so I'm gonna wait. And so I'm sitting there going, okay, crap. Really gotta think this one through. The dude is in love with the house, absolutely in love with the house, has been driving down the street for the last 15 years, sees this house every single day, and just wants to own this house. And so he wants this house. He's willing to go to his family members and say, hey, give me $150,000 cash. I want to buy this house. Trust fund family, they're like, I like this house too. It's going to be a lot of work, but we're in an apartment. We don't want to be here. And I really want to buy a house. And my mom lives around the block. So I'm like, oh, okay. So there's like some things going on there as well. So here's my dilemma. I'm like, oh man, and both of them are like, hey, can we both give you a deposit? So they're both saying, hey, can we give you a deposit? Can we move in? Can we start cleaning it up? Can we do all of this stuff? And I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is going crazy here. So here's what I'm thinking I'm going to actually do with this particular property is I am going to sell it to the family that has the cash. They have the cash. They love it. They love this property, and the trust fund family, they're just looking for a house that's gonna be seller financed. Doesn't necessarily have to be this one. The caveat was that it's around the block from their mother, which I think is why they're willing to do a lot more of the work, because it's a total cleaner. I mean, it needs a lot of work. So anyway, that's what I'm going to end up doing here. So I'm going to collect the deposit down, and then I'm also going to fast track the probate here, because the probate's like really simple. So anyway, that's what I'm doing. So to recap here, got two buyers. Both of them are hungry for this particular house, and I'm going to sell it to buyer one who has the cash all day today. Oh, there's another thing too. So cash all day today, I would be making, after everything's said and done, I'll probably clear, I don't know, I gotta pay some taxes on it because I've owned it for a day. So I'll probably clear about $25,000 on that one. On buyer number two, they would put down 60, but I'd be cash flowing that thing about. So I'd hold the $40,000 in reserve, and then I would also repay myself for bringing it out of foreclosure. So I would break even, but then I'd cash flow about $300 a month, which is roughly $3,600 a year. So I mean, in the long run, I mean, where am I at? So I'd rather take the cash today and then just, move on down the road on this particular property. So that's what I'm going to do. The cool thing about it is that I still got this other buyer with 60 grand, and I can go find another property and it might not have a rehabilitation loan on it and be able to ride that one and get even better profits. So this is Ryan Nickel, and I'm signing out.